Hey, welcome in, welcome in. I'm just going to be base coating all of the armour panels with this Doombell Brown. And this is just going to give our green colour something nice to sit on top of and give us some nice shadows, and also help when we come to do some of the corrosion later. We're just going to be using this corn red to base coat all of his skin with. And this red will be a nice colour for our skin tones to sit on top of. And it will be a nice colour for our shadows to go against when we add those after. I'm just going to be adding this Leviathan purple to the shadows on the skin. This purple against the red is going to help us get some really nasty bruised looking skin. And yeah, it will really help the skin look battered when we come to add in our actual skin tones. I'm just going to be adding this Caliban green to all of the armour panels, and this will be the darkest green we use. Yeah, just whilst adding this, try not to cover up all the Doombell Brown. We do want that left in as like the darkest colour, and that will help with the corrosion later. Cool, and this is what he looks like so far. And this is all the airbrushing steps done, and from here we'll be doing everything with a paintbrush. Okay, so I'm just going to load up these colours onto my wet palette. And just that puddle is some like my own custom thinner mix, which I have in this bottle, and that's made up of this golden retarder, about 20% to 80% isopropanol, and the isopropanol is just in that airbrush cleaner bottle, it's not the actual airbrush cleaner. And I'll be using my 00 Winsor Newton Series 7 brush. So I'm going to be starting with the darkest green, just building up the Caliban green a little bit more on the armor panels, just to add a bit more texture to it. I'm just going to be punk punching the whole model, which is my brush technique, which is basically a mixture of stippling, purposeful brush strokes, scratching and slashing, and I do all of this with wet paint, so it's not like dry brushing. And yeah, the paint is thin and wet, and it doesn't put actual texture onto the model, it just leaves the impression of texture. And this is the way I'll be building up all my non-metallic metal. I find this the most fun and interesting way to do it, and I find this gives you a really cool and realistic result. So just gradually building up the different greens. Like I said, starting from the darkest one, making sure to leave some of the doom ball on the edges, and also going around the edges and sort of edge highlighting as well. And yeah, just a combination of all the contrast with the dark greens and the brown, and then the lighter greens building up. It all contributes to getting that non-metallic effect. Some of the key things to remember whilst doing this is when you're adding the next brightest colour is to try and stay inside of the previous colour, and all the like the texture marks and stuff, you're just basically the same as layering but inside each texture mark. But every time I've got like some big stipples and big scratches, I'll be going inside of those with the lighter colour, and yeah, not covering up the previous colour. But yeah, it's the slow build up of all of these different colours and textures that really make it look cool. Have fun and be patient whilst doing these steps. It might not look exactly how you want straight away, but again, it is just the slow gradual build up of all the different layers and colours. And yeah, it's like it'll all be worth it in the end. And yeah, this is definitely my favourite and most fun way of doing non-metallic metal. You don't have to do one armor panel at a time. You could say do the darkest colour and go over all of the armor panels, and then move up to the next colour and then go over all the armor panels. I prefer working on one at a time. It just feels nice when you get one right. You feel like comfortable to move on to the next one, and also once you know like the one that you're doing looks cool, you've got something to compare the other ones to. So yeah, it's just, I find it better just doing one at a time. Sometimes you can get a build up of paint just on the tip of the brush. Just make sure you remove that, give the brush a good rinse, and then yeah, just it's important so you can remain in control of the paint and how the paint leaves the brush. So I'm just using the Dawn Yellow at the moment, and this is used very sparingly because this is the brightest of my highlight colours. So I'll just be sort of trying to catch the edges and the rivets and any like sort of splits in the armour. And yeah, you definitely don't want to overuse this colour. It's very tempting, it looks really cool as you start adding it, but it does get to a point where if you add too much, all of a sudden like all your previous layers are ruined. But yeah, just the same as all the other layers, just build them up slowly. Try not to cover up your previous layers and just stay within the other layers. Just giving you a closer look to how it looks. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this. It's looking really cool so far. And yeah, I just can't wait to get the rest of it done. But yeah, really nice. Going to be working on this piece on his wrist. All the same principles as we did on his shoulder armor, just leaving the darkest colors and yeah, just gradually building up the brightness. Yeah, just be patient and have fun. It does take a while for the layers to build up and start looking cool. But yeah, the end result's always worth it, so yeah, just stick with it. And if ever you get anything and you're not happy with it, you can just go back with the previous colours. And yeah, even if you feel like you've completely ruined it, you just base paint that area again with the Doomball brown. And yeah, just have another go. It's also, you know, not as bad because we're using really thin paint. So it's not like if you have to go back and start again, you're losing like any detail or anything. You really are painting with like super thin paints, so yeah, don't need to worry about anything like that. Just have a go, see how it turns out. If you're not happy with it, just try again. But yeah, just patience and yeah, just make the whole process as fun as possible. Also, just another tip as well, sometimes when you're doing non-metallic metal, you can really try and go over the top with the sort of realism aspect of it, and sometimes the realistic thing doesn't look very cool. So even though you may have done something where it's like, oh yeah, it makes more sense for there to be a shadow there, or for me not to have a highlight there, and you do that and it's like, yeah, it looks like realistic but it doesn't look cool. But you do something that isn't realistic but looks cool, just do the cool thing. Like if it looks cool, then that's the goal. So yeah, fight any urges to be like too over the top with the realism. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird struggle with the realism, because I do feel like if you want it to look realistic, you just use the like the metallic paints, and that like immediately looks more real because it is. So yeah, just yeah, when you're doing non-metallic metal, just definitely do what looks cool. And yeah, and just here I can see I wasn't very happy with some of the edges. And yeah, so I'm just going back over the Doomball brown and just thinning out some of the edge highlights. And then yeah, just building it back up again. So yeah, like I say, it's a nice technique. You don't have to get it perfect first go. It is okay to either make a mistake or you do something and you think you can get it better, or you try one idea and it doesn't work. Just go back with the previous colours and yeah, just adjust. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm just going over his Nurgle symbol with his Doomball brown. And yeah, that's just basically going to be a nice base colour for when I do a different metallic effect over it later. And also just gives me a bit more contrast to compare the greens to on his wristband. Unfortunately, the footage for the leg armour didn't come out, but hopefully you've got the idea from the previous panels I've shown, and also I've got his helmet to do. But yeah, well pleased with how the model's looking so far. Again, just slowly building up the colours, adding texture to it, lots of stipples and brush marks. Again, using thin paint, so we're not leaving actual texture on the model, just the impression of it. And yeah, try your best to not cover up the previous layers, leave plenty of contrast. And yeah, just the darkest areas help make the brightest areas look even brighter than they are. Yeah, one of my favourite models from Games Workshop, and yeah, it's definitely a really cool one for doing this sort of technique on. Very nice learning piece. And yeah, just overall, it's just a super cool model. I really do like the Magakin models. And I think this one's probably my favourite one out of that range. And that's another important thing to keep in mind is when you are trying to learn these sort of techniques, require quite a lot of time and patience. It's best just to choose, the model that you think's the coolest and you'd like to do the most. So for me, it's this one. But yeah, feel free to try this technique out on whichever your favourite model is as well. Yeah, just having another look at him. And yeah, just super happy with how he's coming so far. Like, I'm well pleased with his green armour. definitely looking cool. It's definitely popping. And yeah, just yeah, really pleased with it. We're going to be moving on to his flesh now, using this Bugman's Glow, Cadian Flesh Tone and the Kislev Flesh. Still using the same brush. And yeah, just starting off with the Bugman's Glow. Just sort of like we did with the armour, is we'll be trying our best not to cover up our previous layers. So the Khorne Red and the Leviathan Purple, we'll be leaving those in the shadows. And yeah, he's got quite a bit of skin on him. So again, just be patient, take your time, have fun. And yeah, just don't rush, build up the layers slowly. But yeah, this is really nice skin tone. And yeah, it sits really nice against the Khorne Red and the Leviathan Purple. Unlike some of the really muscly models, you don't have to worry as much about leaving dark shadows. Just where he is super bruised and going to be super sore around all of his sort of fat folds. So yeah, just yeah, don't worry too much about covering up the darker areas like you would on a muscly model. And yeah, it just will add to the grotesqueness of his flesh. So yeah, just build up the opacity to what you think looks good. It is absolutely fine with this type of model, at least, to have it a little bit patchy, and some of the paint being really transparent in some areas, just letting the red and the purple sort of burn through, as that helps give the impression of his really sore and battered, horrible skin. Again, this can be quite time consuming, but yeah, just build up the layers slowly, have as much fun while you're doing it, and yeah, just be patient. But yeah, I am really happy with how it's coming along already. But yeah, again, I think it's just a super cool model, so when you're doing these techniques that take longer to build up, I do think it is important that you really do love the model that you're doing it on. or at least when you're learning, because yeah, just the more fun you can make it for yourself, the more chance you're gonna have to succeed. So yeah, again, you could, like I've done with the armor panels, I did one at a time. So with this, I am just mainly concentrating on his front. Just, it's like sort of the biggest and coolest area. And then yeah, I'll be filling in his arms and back after. But yeah, just building up the layers and yeah, just get his whole front bit done. So yeah, I've just moved up to the Acadian flesh tone now. I'll be picking where I want this. Again, just like making sure to leave all the previous layers so we're not completely covering up the Bugman's Glow. We're not completely going over the Corn Red or the Leviathan Purple in the shadows. We're just, yeah, just building up his skin tone and building up his grotesque textures. Yeah, trying to pick out some of his boils. And yeah, just anything that's disgusting and nasty on him. Let's try and enhance how that looks. But yeah, he's definitely a really cool model. I do like how disgusting they've made him. So here he is, just with a few more layers. He's got his arms and back placed in now. So yeah, looking cool already. Give you a closer look just so you can see into the shadows. And you can see some of the patches where I've let the purple and the corn red sort of burn through. But yeah, just starting to look super irritated and bruised and horrible. And yeah, just a realistic view so you can see like how I'm actually seeing the model. when I'm painting, and probably how the model will look to you when you're painting it. Yeah, it's always good to like take a step back to have a look at it. Also, I'm just going up to the Kislev flesh now. Just picking out certain areas. Just trying to get, some of the raised bits on him to stick out. And just enhancing the disgust. Just picking out some of the detail on his horrible little tail. There's definitely a lot of little details to do on this model. And just taking our time and going over everything and making sure everything's as cool as we can get it. I decided the Kislev flesh wasn't stepping it up quite enough, so I moved it up again with this flayed one flesh. And just adding a bit more brightness and detail to him. And just the same as all the other steps. Every time we go up in colour, we cover a smaller surface area. And we're not trying to cover up our previous layers with this one. Just literally just catching the edges and all the bits of interest we want to bring attention to. But I'm feeling he is looking particularly disgusting, so I'm well pleased with how he's come in so far. I really do enjoy painting in this style. Like, the paint's so smooth and nice, and he looks textured and horrible and just disgusting. It's like, it's definitely my favourite way to paint. And painting this way I find really fun. It's you don't have to be as careful. So say if I accidentally hit one of the armor panels with this colour, where I've got the previous colours on my wet palette anyway, and the colours are so sort of transparent, Like sometimes, you know, I could probably accidentally hit one of the armor panels, and where the paint's so thin it won't actually like leave the mark. And yeah, if it does, it takes hardly any time at all to fix with one of the other colors. So yeah, just definitely recommend giving this sort of style of painting a go. I do really find it sort of relaxing, and yeah, just a lot of fun. And yeah, if you've not had a go at painting like this, I definitely would recommend it. It's always good to step outside of your comfort zone and try new things. And yeah, it's the best way to improve. And also, you know, the more techniques and things you learn, the more you can apply it to other models. And yeah, it just brings a whole new level of enjoyment to the hobby. Yeah, just giving them a look over. Again, give you a more realistic view of what I can see when I'm painting. And I'm just going to be making a glaze with this corn red, and just lightly loading up the brush, and yeah, just pushing it into all of his creases. And yeah, that will help blend the transition between his skin and then this horrible sort of raw and sore effect with all of his folds. But yeah, just make sure the paint's just super light. We're not trying to change the colour of his skin, we're just adding some like sore, disgusting effect to it and just enhancing what's already there. Yeah, we're really going to go over this this nuggle mark. It's on his belly, just really get that to stick out, and yeah, just make it look super bruised and just disgusting as possible. So yeah, we're sort of pulling the paint outwards and bringing it in towards the Nurgle circles. And yeah, just so that when the paint leaves the brush, it's nearest to the circle. And yeah, just basically like glazing and yeah, just slowly building up the layers. But as you can see, it's just looking sorer and sorer. And yeah, where the purple in the previous colours are still showing through, it's really like giving that horrible bruised effect. So yeah, his flesh is looking proper rotten and disgusting. So yeah, so we're sort of glazing into the shadows along his gut. So yeah, if you were thinking the skin was looking a bit too healthy before, doing this step will definitely help make it look more putrid. Yeah, just adding this along the creases on his face, and this will just help the contrast and get all of his details to stick out and just pop more. But yeah, already just looking really cool. Really enjoying painting this model. Yeah, just going over some of his slits and gashes as well. Just make those stick out and just look disgusting. But yeah, he's got plenty of details to do. But yeah, definitely a step worth doing. And again, yeah, just taking your time and building up the layers and getting it how you want to look. Yeah, just give you a closer look. And yeah, I'm really happy with how he looks. Just does look super disgusting and just battered and bruised and just raw and disgusting and putrid. Yeah, love him. Like I So it's probably one of my favourite models. And yeah, just more of a realistic look at it, just so you can see what it would actually look like. So I'm going to be using this Storm Vermin fur, and I'll be using this on all of his iron bits. So yeah, just texture marking this this blade that's on his shoulder pad. So again, like the other armor panels, you want to be leaving the darker colour in there as well, and we're just building up the textures. Yeah, I really like this hammer that they've given him as well. It's like such a cool weapon. Yeah, just like the blade on his armor panel, just adding a texture to it and still leaving the previous layers in, still leaving plenty of the dark and the shadows. Yeah, even just with this first layer, it's already making it come to life. Yeah, just using really thin paint. It does take a few goes around to get the textures and layers to build up. But yeah, when you get the opacity and the effect you want, then you know it's time to move up to the next colour. But yeah, already just with that first colour on, it's starting to look really cool. And just be doing the same thing on the edges of his shield. I feel like this is quite an important part of the model, so it's good to get this the best we can as well. So we'll be taking just as much time on this as we have the other parts. Yeah, just like the other parts, we're just slowly building up the texture, building up the layers and the opacity. And we're just going to be doing the same on this weapon. If you're unsure about how to do the effect we've done on his armor blade in his shield, this might be a good piece to practice on first before applying it to the other parts, just as this sits in between his body and the shield, so you don't really get to see it. So you could sort of take less care with this, although I will be showing it the same amount of attention as the other parts. But yeah, just if you're doing this for the first time and you didn't really want to do it straight away on his like hammer or shield or something that's more important, like yeah, just give it a go on this first, and then yeah, when you think this one looks cool, and just apply the same technique to the other parts. And just moving up to the Dawnstone. So just like with the armor panels and the skin and everything we've done so far, we'll just be painting this inside the textures that I've made. And yeah, basically just the same as layering, going over your previous layers, but not completely covering them up, just covering smaller and smaller areas at a time. And yeah, just the style that I've been doing this in, where I've left lots of like different stipples and slashes and brush strokes, just painting within the borders of those. yeah, just doing the same thing again on his hammer. Just building up the layers, trying to stay within the textures that I've built with the previous layers. And yeah, leaving plenty of the shadow for it to contrast against. It's all about just taking your time and having lots of fun. And the same thing again for a shield, leaving plenty of the shadows and plenty of the previous layer. And yeah, just slowly building up the textures and the opacity and trying to stay within the borders of the previous texture marks. I know it looks like I'm going quite fast and it seems quite uncontrolled. Just be holding the brush like that just so you can sort of see the flicker motion. But I am aiming inside the previous textures and I am mostly just hitting within that. It is okay to go out a little bit because again, it's the contrast that really catches your eye. So having a few bits outside of the previous textures, fine. You just want the majority of them within the borders of the previous ones. Otherwise it does start to look a bit odd and just not right. And you can hold the brush differently if you wanted, like a bit closer to the bristles and go super slow and be really precise. That's what I used to do when I first started doing this sort of technique, and then I learned that if I held the brush further back, like how I demonstrated just a minute ago, and sort of flicked it and aimed within the textures, you could actually get the same result but just so much faster. And just be moving up to this grey. And yeah, we'll just be picking out mostly the edges and any cracks and splits and just the details. And yeah, just giving it a little bit of a shine just to help sell the non-metallic look of it. Again, very important to use this sparingly. Added in small doses, it looks really cool, and then you can get excited and start adding like a lot more, and before you know it, like you need to start again. So yeah, just be very careful when using this one. you could probably get away with using one of your older brushes or a not so nice brush. Because yeah, if you do this quite a bit, you will spoil the tip of it fairly quick. But I always look after my brushes, so after this painting session, I'll give it a thorough clean and use the soap on it to recondition the hair on it. And yeah, so it will go back to being nice. But yeah, again, if this was like one of the first times you're going to try this technique out and try and paint like this, you could get away with using one of your older brushes. Just for the way that I paint as well, I prefer using the 00 brush, just as it doesn't load the brush up with too much paint. So if I do happen to press too hard, I don't get loads of paint flooding out. Just where I like do the punt cunch, and there's lots of like stippling and slashing and brush stroking. It is easy to just apply too much pressure to it and then just have like loads of paint spill out and it just be a mess. So yeah, I found the 00's a good brush for me. If I was doing the same thing on a bigger model, I would probably go up to a 0, but again, I'll always be sort of using the smallest brush I think suitable for the model for this technique. Again, just make sure you get rid of all of the build up in blobs or whatever that's on the tip, because you do want the paint running smoothly, and yeah, you just want to be in control of it the whole time. Yeah, super pleased with how this hammer's looking, and that the blade on the shoulder pad is looking really cool. But yeah, just applying all the same techniques again to a shield. Again, you can go slower and be more precise, but yeah, I do like holding the brush further back and aiming in between the textures and flicking it. And then just the same thing on this weapon. Okay, so going back to the Doomball Brown, and we're just going to start adding some corrosion. Yeah, we're just mainly going to be trying to keep it in the shadows and in the ridges. And yeah, just make sure your paint is like really thin when you're doing this. Yeah, just not trying to cover up any of the layers you've just done, using super thin paint And yeah, just trying to catch the corrosion where we think it would naturally build up, and also just where you think it looks cool. Yeah, filling in some of the pits and holes on his weapons as well. I'll be doing the same thing on his armor. But yeah, even just for this tiny bit of paint, yeah, it just looks really cool already. Yeah, just loving the way it looks so far. Yeah, really nice effect. But yeah, I can't stress enough how thin the paint is for this. It's basically just dirty water. And yeah, if you're not sure whether the paint's thin enough, just give it a try on your nail and see how it looks. And yeah, just do that before applying it to the model. But again, if you do apply it and it doesn't look how you want, just go back to the previous steps and then yeah, try again. Yeah, just doing the same thing for a shield. Yeah, this is how he's looking so far. But yeah, just really happy with him. Looking so cool. And yeah, the corrosion on his weapons just looks really good. I'm just going to be using this burgundy to go over his like tabard. Yeah, just building up the layers on this. We already had the Leviathan purple on there, so yeah, we're just sort of blending up to this burgundy colour, leaving the purple in the shadows. Yeah, take your time. Try not to get on the other areas like the skin or this armor. But again, just the way that we've painted and we're using a wet palette and we've got all the colours all still on there. Like, it's not a problem just to go back and touch it up. And yeah, again, just where we're using such thin layers that yeah, if you accidentally touch one of the pieces, it probably won't dry like opaque enough for you to notice or to spoil anything. Just moving up to this pink horror, adding some highlights to it. Again, trying our best not to go in the shadows or cover up our previous layers. Just using super thin paint. We're sweeping out of the shadows and onto the most raised bit where we think the light would catch. And we're not going for trying to make the material look super shiny. Just material absorbs light, so it wouldn't be like super bright, but we're just giving it enough so it like just stands out and looks cool. Also, the main interests for this piece is going to be the metallic elements in his flesh, so we don't have to worry too much about these other parts. Like, we still want to get them up to a really good quality, but we don't want to take the attention away from the parts that we like, that we think is cool and we want the viewer to see. Yeah, you're sort of just trying to control where your eye looks. So you want the viewer to be like straight away like, oh my god, like that skin looks disgusting, and then oh yeah, like the green armor looks sick, and then oh yeah, cool, you've got some like corrosion on his other weapons, and then sort of they're like my main bits that I want to spend my time on. And just want the viewer's eye to sort of bounce around those areas and sort of just keep the viewer focused there. And yeah, just like making a super bright tabard on top of that, and then I don't know, just making everything too eye-catching. It's almost like I don't know, just making the person like dizzy. Like there's just too much to look at, and you really lose the effect of all of the things that you wanted to stick out and wanted to look cool. But yeah, it's all about balance as well. So we're trying to like improve our skill, like our skill set, and we're like, oh yeah, we're working on a non-metallic metal, disgusting flesh, and adding corrosion to the metal parts. But at the same time, we're also, we're learning balance and control, and yeah, just learning where you need to concentrate the most. And there'll be other models where, say, the tabard, or they'll have like a really cool cape, or just have lots of cloth around them, and yeah, and you'll want to make that the main focus. But yeah, I think it looks cooler when you let some of the other parts shine. Yeah, and just be going over his maggots and making them stick out more. So yeah, again, just adding to the disgust of him. Yeah, he does. He just looks so disgusting. Like, I absolutely love it. Like, for me, this is like a 10 out of 10 Games Workshop model. Like, this is, really good job, guys. Like, please, just make more disgusting models like this. I personally, another one of my favourite models that they do was the Forge World Great Unclean one. There's an absolutely disgusting and filthy looking model. I did paint him a long time ago. I would love to get another one and do a paint tutorial on that, but looking on their website it seems that they've stopped doing it. I don't know whether they'll bring it back in plastic or whether they'll resurrect it again, but yeah, I really would like to paint that model again. So we're just going to be making another glaze out of this corn red, and I'll be using this to go over his tabard. Just the sort of colour that I've done it, it's like it's too close to his skin, so yeah, just trying to like dull it down and get it away from looking like his skin. Yeah, I'm just going to be using this Rhinox hide, and we're going to just start doing all of the copper and brass pieces. So I'm just going to be starting on this bell. Yeah, just the same as all the other metal pieces, just building up the textures and layers slowly. And yeah, trying to leave the previous colours in. Yeah, just as always, just patience, build up the layers, and then move on to the next one. Yeah, so many cool small details on this miniature. Yeah, just take your time, go over them, and yeah, just have fun. So yeah, the shield is a really prominent part of the model. So yeah, we're gonna take our time with this one and yeah, just make it look super cool. Again, paint is really thin, just building up textures and layers. So yeah, I usually would build the model to completion and paint everything as one thing, but yeah, just where the sort of the shield made it hard to get in to paint some of his armour and skin, and also just with the shield being a prominent piece, I wanted to be able to do it the best I could. But yeah, I just felt like doing this one in a sub-assembly would work better for this model. Yeah, just moving up to the Morfang Brown. Same thing again as what we did for the other metal layers. Just building up the textures and yeah, just stepping up the colour. Trying our best not to go over the previous layers, and yeah, just staying within the borders of the texture marks that we've made. Just going back in with the Rhinox High just to do the inner part of the shield. And then we're back onto the Morfang Brown now. And yeah, just add in some more textures and yeah, enhancing the contrast. Yeah, it does take a few layers to build up the opacity, just where the paint's so thin. But yeah, it's definitely worth painting this way, you have a lot more control over it. Yeah, I'm just building up the textures and that on the inner part of his shield. And we're just moving back to the Morfang Brown over onto the bells and the 3 balls on his hammer. Again, just trying to paint within the previous textures, leaving plenty of contrast, and yeah, that would just really help bring the non-metallic effect. But yeah, also you can see that I'm aiming mostly for where the light that I've got is reflecting, just because that's basically telling you where the light is coming from. And yeah, and then I'm sort of just exaggerating it a bit by going a little bit further, just so it actually sticks out on the model. But yeah, again, like say if we were going for trying to be like really realistic, you probably wouldn't cover as much as you would with these ones because they're like on the underside and completely like facing away from the light. But I'm just picking them out because it looks cool. Okay, so we're just going to be moving up to the Bugman's Glow now for the next highlight. Again, covering a smaller surface area than before, so just trying to stay within our layers and within the boundaries of our texture marks, and yeah, just slowly building up the opacity on it. Again, just using super thin paint and just adding it layer by layer, just gently bringing up the contrast. And yeah, just doing all the same again on his bells and the balls on the hammer. Yeah, you can see just adding this Bugman's Glow really is starting to bring the shine into it. Yeah, when doing non-metallic metal, you do just need to be patient. It doesn't always look how you want it to look straight away. It does take a lot of layer building, and yeah, just lots of patience. But yeah, as you add the layers and start building up the shine, like it starts getting closer and closer to looking like metal, and then yeah, all of a sudden it just gets to a point where you're like, oh sick, yeah, it looks like metal. But yeah, it does take a while for it to get to that point, and all the time, if you haven't done it before, all the time you're doing it, you're just like, is this working? Am I wasting my time? Do I need to start again? It doesn't look very good, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there it is, like, cool, sick. But yeah, it just takes a lot of patience and just practice to keep on going. Yeah, we're going to be adding the Cadian flesh tone to that as well, just enhancing the contrast even more, getting it brighter and brighter. And yeah, so like all the other layers, we're not covering up the previous ones, just painting within inside the boundaries of the previous textures, and yeah, just slowly bringing up the opacity, just getting it brighter and brighter. And yeah, like I was just saying, it's just all about patience, not worrying too much, not overthinking it, not like getting to a certain point and thinking, oh no, it doesn't look like it, I've done it wrong, start again. Just keep pushing it, just keep going. But yeah, just time, patience and practice, that's all it is. Yeah, it's doing the same thing again on the bell and the round, the balls on his hammer. Oh yeah, and there's other like little decorations. But yeah, just patience. Make it as fun as you can, and yeah, just enjoy it. Again, I really do think it helps when you're learning or doing stuff like this to do it on a model that you really, really like. And yeah, just be super gentle, just slowly build up the opacity. Yeah, I'm just doing this in a part of his shield. I've moved over to one of my older sort of Citadel brushes where the end's a bit more raggy. And yeah, that'll just help with the textures. But yeah, really pleased with how it's all looking so far. Yeah, it's been a really fun model to paint. Definitely recommend getting one of these and having a go with the same technique. Yeah, you can see I'm just being super careful and staying inside my previous layers and slowly building up the opacity. I'll just be using this Dawn Yellow to do the final highlights. So yeah, again with this one, just extremely sparingly, just in the sort of the bit where you want the shine to catch the most, and also just on like the edges of like the dimples and any like raised detail you want to pop. You could use just white for this instead, but I do prefer using the Dawn Yellow. But yeah, we'll be covering the smallest surface area with this colour. Again, it's easy you put it on and it looks really cool. And it makes it look really shiny, and you add more, and then all of a sudden it's ruined. So yeah, just definitely with this colour, this is the one you need to be the most cautious with and show them most restraint. So yeah, just barely touching it. But yeah, just that small little bit just makes such a big difference. Really makes it look shiny. Just so you can have a closer look. Yeah, it does. It just looks so cool. So I'm just going to be using this Corvus Black to go over all the black parts. So we've got a strap and the gallows that's attached to his back. we're doing the gallows as like a black wood, so it's already black, so we're just going to be highlighting the textures with this Corvus black. Yeah, I did think about doing the gallows as like a more of a wood colour, or more of a brown wood colour, but I just thought it would take too much attention away from the model, and also like the black makes it like sort of stick out and look cool, but without taking the attention away from the actual model. And I'm just going to be going over the ropes and stuff with this Morfang brown. I'm just be using this Storm Vermin fur just to go over the edges of the gallows. Just a nice highlight colour for it. Yeah, the black gallows, they do look really cool, but yeah, just when you're first looking at the model, it doesn't take all the attention away from the cool green armour and like the disgusting skin. So these are the colours I used for his horns. Unfortunately, the footage for his horns didn't come out, so I've just got the footage of me using this Rhinox hide to glaze over his horns, and it's just like blending the colours together. So what I did was I put the Shanty bone up closest to his head, and the Doomball brown furthest away, so near the tip, and then I like wet blended down from the Shanty bone into the Doomball brown, and then I added the matte black on the tips, and yeah, I'm just using this Rhinox hide as a glaze just to sort of bring the layers together. And yeah, just adding a bit more black to the tips. And I'm just going to be going over this on this tabard, just checking over the model and looking at it. I still felt like his tabard was still a bit too close to his skin colour. It needed darkening up a bit. So yeah, I thought I'd pop this over the top. And yeah, it seems to be doing the trick, so yeah, that was a good decision. But yeah, it's nice using the contrast paints because I did all the nice sort of texturing and layering on it previously, and the contrast paint's really good at like leaving that in, and yeah, it's done exactly what I wanted it to do, which was, you know, still have a cool looking tabard that I'd spent time on, but at the same time, you know, it doesn't take attention away from the model or like or clash with anything. So yeah, I just felt like the colour it was at the moment was just still sort of clashing a bit too much with the skin, or sort of not clashing, but just like it's just too samey. So yeah, I just needed a bit more differentiation between the two, and yeah, this burgundy colour was a good choice to do that. But yeah, do be careful with that burgundy, especially if you're using it over white, because it can make it look super pink. And I'll just be using these colours to go over the skulls. Yeah, try not to get it into the shadows and into the eye sockets and stuff. Just pick out the sort of the raised areas and the bits that would catch the most light. Yeah, really pleased with how the model's looking so far. Just got a few more details to do. We're getting towards the end now. Yeah, this video's been quite long. This will probably definitely be the longest one on my channel so far. But I feel like we had a lot of different textures, like different non-metallic metals, and his putrid skin to cover. So yeah, definitely worth it. So thanks for sticking with it so far. And yeah, I'm just wet blending those two colours on the fleshy parts of the heads that are on his gallows. So yeah, just add in the burgundy and then just going over with the Kislev flesh and just smushing them and wet blending them together. Yeah, it's a really nice, cool, fast effect. A really good way to get to establish layers in tone, like really quick. You don't have to do the flicky motion that I do. You can do it slower, but again, just after practice and trial and error, I find this gives me the same result, and yeah, it looks super smooth and nice. Yeah, go back and forth, do as many different takes as you need to get the opacity and colour you want. Again, we're using super thin paint, so yeah, you don't have to worry about doing it a few times and covering over details or anything. And yeah, I'm just using this Acadian flesh tone just to highlight it and make the areas pop. But yeah, it's cool. You need the skin to look sort of rotten and decaying. But yeah, the sort of the purpley, disgusting tone, and then putting this higher flesh tone over the top just to make it pop and stick out. And yeah, just gonna be making it all look raw and dirty again with this Carb Crimson. Yeah, I do feel like the Carb with Crimson over skin colours is a really good way to make it look irritated and sore. So yeah, these it will suit these severed heads nicely. And yeah, just help take the smoothness of the wet blending off it. Yeah, just have a nice close inspection of the model. You can see what it looks like up close. But yeah, super happy. Love the way the non-metallic metal looks on those brassy bits. And yeah, just well pleased with the armour and just that disgusting flesh. I like the way the tabard looks now. It still looks really cool, but yeah, it's not taking attention away from the model. You can still see the nice sort of material texture that I put in it. And yeah, looking cool, well pleased. And yeah, just again, I'll give you a more realistic look at it so you can see what I'm seeing. So yeah, it is important to, you've been working with the model up close, just to sort of take it away from you, look at it at arm's length or at a proper scale, so you can see how it actually looks. So yeah, just really, really pleased with it. Absolutely love this model. It's going to be adding this to his eye. Again, just like a cool colour, just help draw. I think the human eye sort of gravitates towards red. So yeah, just adding that onto his eye, and that'll just pull your eye straight in to where I want you to look. And yeah, if it happens to spill out on the edge, just where it's contrast, you can just wipe it off with your finger. And it's going to be up in the corrosion, using a scrag brown as a rust. I'll just show you how thin this actually needs to be. So the part where I've just took from is just a scrag brown. I just took like a tiny slither of it, added all of this water to it, and yeah, you can see it's just basically dirty water. And that's what I'll be adding to make the rust effect. And yeah, I'm just trying to get the whole thing in shot so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So just sort of blobbing it onto the brush and then just dab it where you want it. And yeah, if it's not exactly where you want, just dry the brush off and just soak it up and try again. But yeah, you can see it is literally just small bits of pigment floating in water. So yeah, try and build this up in areas where you think rust will be, and also just where you think looks cool. Again, if you go too mad with it and you don't like the look of it, or you make a mistake, or yeah, it just dries in a way that you didn't like, just go back with the previous colours and just go over it. Like I say, we're using such thin layers that it's easy to undo anything that you don't like. Yeah, just go around the model and add it to where you think either rust would build up or just where it looks cool. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favourite ways of doing rust. Yeah, it's good because then you don't have to use any other products or anything. So it's just all Citadel or stuff that you've probably got already. And you don't need to do any like reductive techniques or anything with mineral spirits or oil washes. So yeah, it's just like a non-stressful and fun way to do your rust. But yeah, you can see how quickly that puddle goes down. But yeah, just mixing some more up. And yeah, just getting it so it just soaks straight into all of the little pits and dents and stuff where I want it to go. But yeah, just take your time. Plenty of places to put it. You don't have to put it everywhere. You could just choose a few areas, but yeah, it does look really cool. So yeah, just be adding it to wherever I think looks cool, to be fair. Yeah, sort of just adding it to like the bolts and stuff where like water would gather and rust would sort of naturally settle. But yeah, again, just also adding it just to places where I think looks cool. But yeah, it's sort of about taste as well, so add it to where you think it would look cool, or you know, you don't have to put as much on as I have. Or you can put even more on. You can make them super rusty. Yeah, it's just a nice fun step. It's fun just to add all these little details and just, yeah, just push it as far as you can go. Also, if you're just not sure on the consistency, if it's the first time you're making this sort of dirty water, you can also just, you know, test it on your nail or on a different part of the model where you can't see as well, just to see how it's behaving before you apply it to the more prominent areas. So yeah, just showing you it now that it's dried. You can repeat this step as many times as you want to get the opacity you want. But yeah, really cool effect. Looks really realistic, and yeah, it definitely suits the model. And yeah, I'll just be enhancing it with this Troll Slayer orange. You can do the same with this as well, and just make like dirty water out of it and place it in smaller areas, and yeah, the pigments will settle on top of the previous ones. But you can also do like what I'm doing and just give it like a stipple and just some like tiny brush strokes, just trying to get it inside of the previous pigment. And yeah, just again, this is going to be the brightest one, so don't cover up the previous layers with it. Just add enough so it either looks realistic or it looks cool and just how you want it. But yeah, and like all the other previous brightest highlights, it is one where if you use too much, you do risk ruining the effect. So yeah, just use it sparsely and yeah, just be reserved with it. But like all the previous steps, if you do happen to go too far with it, just go back in with the previous colours. And yeah, just where we're using the paint so thin, yeah, it doesn't take a lot to undo a mistake. Yeah, using that the dirty scrag brown, letting that dry, and then adding dots of this over the top of it. It does just make it look super like dusty, and yeah, just it does look really realistic. So yeah, it's a really cool way to do it. So yeah, I'm just using this Doomball brown, and I'll just be making like a glaze with it, and I'll just be using that to tame down some of the parts where I wasn't as happy with it. So this bit on the side of his face, it just yeah, I just did a bit too much on it. So yeah, I want to bring some of the darkness back in and get my contrast back. Yeah, just testing it on my nail just to make sure it's the consistency I want first. And yeah, we're just going from the edge and pushing it into the darkest bits. So yeah, when I lift the brush off, the pigment's getting deposited in sort of the most shadowy bit that I want it to be in. Yeah, and just showing you just how easy it is just to go back over with the previous colours. And yeah, we just get the helmet back to how I want it to look. Yeah, just doing all the same as what I did the first time around. Just starting off with my darkest colour, leaving the previous colours in the shadow, and yeah, just sort of tapping it in and yeah, blending that part of the helmet back up to the same as the rest of the helmet. So yeah, just thin, gradual layers, adding texture, and yeah, every time we add the next colour, we're just staying within the previous colour. Yeah, you can see already it's like starting to match. And then yeah, it's basically undone already. So yeah, don't worry about making mistakes or trying something different and it doesn't work, because yeah, you can always just go back to the previous colours and then yeah, just redo it. So yeah, as you can see, it hasn't took very long at all. Yeah, just got that yellow edge highlight a little bit too thick, so just going back in with a darker colour. Yeah, just giving it a check to see if I want to add more, take some away. But yeah, it's looking cool. Managed to tame that shadow back down in the rust effect. And yeah, just managed to get it back into the areas where I actually want it. Yeah, like I said, it is easily done to get carried away, but once you do and you notice, it's easy enough just to go back. Cool, so just give you a close-up look at the model. So yeah, again, just super happy with it. Absolutely love painting this model. Had tons of fun. Definitely, you know, doing the punk punch, that's like my favourite technique. I don't actually know what the actual artist term for that is. I guess you could call it stippling or brush stroking, but it's really like just a mad combination of everything. So just, yeah, adding lots of textures and layers, using thin paint, just slashing, stippling. Yeah, just lots of purposeful brush strokes. And yeah, just texture building, but without actually leaving texture on the model. We're just giving the impression of texture. But yeah, looking so cool. And I'm just decided that the horns could do with a little bit extra pop, so just using the screaming skull just to make them pop a bit more. And yeah, just doing his teeth with it to make those stick out more. But yeah, pretty much everything's done now. We're just being super picky and yeah, just add in small minor details just so we're happy with the piece. We've put all of this time into it, so yeah, we might as well make it the best we can. I'll just be using these for the oxidization, or the patina I believe it's called, on like the brass pieces. And yeah, so I thought I'd show you, so this is like how I made the scrag brown. So this is just like dirty paint water with a Sotek green. And I think this looks really cool. But we also had the technical paint, the nylon oxide there as well. And yeah, I'll just be using the two. And to be honest, I like both of them, but you could use one or the other. So this one now that I'm using is the nylon oxide. And yeah, it's just like a light colour, but yeah, it looks super cool straight away. And I put the gauze blaster on there as well, just to see if I could sort of match it to the oxide one, and also just to get like a halfway colour between them. So that was what I just put on there. And then yeah, I've gone back to the oxide one, the technical paint. And then that one's the Sotek green. So yeah, just bouncing between the two, sort of, I guess it's wet blending, not like forcing the paints together, but I am letting them like smush into each other naturally. So yeah, I just did that effect, and yeah, I'll just be doing the base now. So I've just basically put PVA glue on the base, poured a bunch of sand on it, and then glued some skulls on. But yeah, I'm just going to go over it with a Rhinox oxide. And yeah, my aim with the base is to have, you know, just like a cool looking base, but all the attention's on the model. So yeah, the colours I'll be using for this, I think the lightest colour will be like a purpley colour I use for it. And that's just so it just looks, I don't know, it just looks cool with the model. But yeah, it'll be mostly like this brown showing through. And yeah, brown's a nice neutral colour, so it's like inoffensive, and yeah, pretty much suit any model that you put on top of it if you use brown basing. Yeah, just adding some texture and just different light points. But yeah, you could spend a lot more time in the base and make like a super sick base, but for me, all of the I want all the attention on the Lord of Blights. Like, he's such a cool model, put so much time with all the different non-metallic metals and just getting that disgusting flesh on him. Don't want people picking it up and saying, oh yeah, the model, the base looks cool. Like, the model is the key feature. Like, yeah, you could probably stop there and not bother adding the purple. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I just added the purple because I thought, I don't know, it looks cool, which is pretty much all my decision making is, does this look cool? If the answer is yes, then that's what I do. And yeah, I just keep testing, keep popping the model on every now and again, just double checking whether it looks cool. Yeah, just gonna do these skulls now. So yeah, we're gonna leave like the purpley and brownish colours in the shadows of the skulls, just because I think that looks really cool. And yeah, we're just adding texture to it. Like I say, just leaving the contrast. Yeah, so the skulls look cool. But again, we're not trying to take attention away from the actual model. And then yeah, just using that final screaming skull just to highlight it and make them pop. But yeah, there he is. He's all based up. And yeah, it looks sick. Like, I'm so happy with this paint job. Absolutely love this model. Like I say, it's probably one of the best models that Games Workshop does, especially if you like the Maggotkin. But yeah, just in general, even if you didn't, like, I think this this model's really special. Definitely like to see more like this from Games Workshop. Again, I would like to see the Great Unclean one, the Forge World one, come back. Their plastic one is cool, but it's just not as disgusting looking as the Forge World one. And also that Forge World one just looks proper mean. Like, it's just so scary and mean looking, like it's sick. But yeah, absolutely love painting this. Plenty of flesh, loads of different metals on him. So yeah, a really nice learning piece, and also just like, yeah, just a really fun piece to do. Yeah, just giving you a more realistic look at it, looking at it from a bit further away, just so you can see more how I see it when I'm painting. And yeah, just how it will look when it's out on a gaming table, yeah, just out and about. But yeah, super cool, really pleased with it. Yeah, and again, just I realise this has been quite a long video, so yeah, thank you very much for sticking all the way to the end. Let me know if you want more like this, or any model suggestions, or a different model you want me to do this technique on. But yeah, just again, thank you very much for staying all the way to the end. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Like, comment, subscribe, share.